Welcome, welcome to the August Universal Grounding. Truly a joy to be present with y'all today in this sacred space of grace where we're gathering for the purpose of unifying, of coming into communion with Source, and we'll be setting intentions shortly. But first and foremost, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome your divine higher self. We're sitting in a space of past, present, and future, all meeting, coming together in this portal between time, where we're also surrounded by our unseen helpers, the divine of, the base of it is Cosmic Mother. She, to me, is the long forgotten goddess, the great Cosmic Mother that is actually genderless, timeless, formless, but because she is a creator, she is the manifesting creation of all time and space. Um, uh, she is given female qualities, and to me, the greatest sin, the greatest repression, is the erasure of this goddess divine. A male god, how can he create? It takes always two, and so there's a big imbalance on the earth. The great Cosmic Mother is arising within all of us, asking to be recognized, seen, and lived through the feminine qualities, however they're presenting themselves to you. And we all are getting urges and calls, and just insight in how to express our divine femininity, but first and foremost to awaken and remember it and embody it. The embodiment sometimes bumps into these deep, dark places that say, well, am I good enough? And these bump into the deeper, deeper, thousands of years old separation where we split into patriarchy that said, you know, the divine feminine, you are no longer sovereign, you're no longer a deity. And that wound is pretty deep. We call that the earth wound. And this earth wound thrives on equanimity, on unity consciousness, on equality, and a relationship, an animated relationship to all. So honoring the divine, bringing us together for this purpose to remember our lost interconnection. And the first thing we want to do is welcome the angel Jophiel into our system. The angel Jophiel coming in through your crown and settling into your heart and spine on the count of 3, 2, 1. There she comes in. To me, she feels like the warmth of a smile. Angel Jophiel, angel of illuminating beauty within. Isn't that gorgeous? But what you don't realize about the angel Jophiel is there's two sides to all that coin. We're sitting in this karmic earth, and in order to embody the beauty, you have to eliminate everything within that is the antithesis of beauty. And that's the separation consciousness, the fear, the pain, the trauma that's been unhealed and unprocessed. And so she also points us to both, to that too. And in that, we clearing that and transforming that through Source, through Trinity, we make room for the beauty to be reclaimed, restored, rebalanced, renewed, realigned. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to be chanting Om to physicalize the sound of the divine within our bodies. It's great for the central nervous system, for the vagus nerve. And so we're going to be taking 3 deep breaths in, and on the out breath, exhaling the sound of Om. Try it on your end if you want, or just allow this vibrational exercise to move in, around, and through you. You ready? First breath in. Om. Second breath in. And the third breath in. Beautiful. I don't know if you can notice the stillness this creates within your physical system. So, because we're dimensional and we're connected to everything, it's hard to envision that when we're on this 3D world, but our system is connected to everything. We have the body, which is a localized consciousness and form, and that is interconnected in this what's called the luminous egg, this grid work to the entire universe. So, with that frame in mind, we've created this sacred space, and I want to open up a space where you can set your intentions. So, I'm going to be quiet for a moment or two, and in this stillness, sink into your heart and state what your heart's desire is. Beautiful. Your wishes are heard, and they will be answered. Trust that, know that. The thing about divine timing, though, is it doesn't always happen right away, and it doesn't always happen according to our expectation of what we ask for. Oftentimes, when I'm doing conscious pioneering sessions with people, the request is something that is reasonable in the physical realm or something that's within their personal life. And then where source takes us is really deep in the root level of what's really holding back that intention from coming into fruition. So let go of your expectation of how it's being answered and when. And sometimes why. Sometimes it takes us a complete right turn. And you're like, what? I asked for this, and why is this happening? Well, Source says, I see everything. Trust. Trust in where it's leading you. Beautiful. So putting your awareness and focus in your lower half. And like I said, we are in the midst of something called integration fatigue, which is a good thing. It's recognizing that you're doing the work, you're processing. The fatigue says, yeah, my nervous system has got too much for it to handle. But that's exactly what's happening now. Things are coming in, things are letting go, and so the upgrade is to increase. It's like a muscle, to increase the nervous system capacity to flow, to open up, to receive, to let go. And so embrace everything. Don't push it away. Don't say, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. Just listen to the body and what it's trying to tell you. And right now in the root chakra, we're clearing out some of that congealed, congested, restricted, constricted survival fear. The root chakra holds a lot of your karmic history of how you connected to earth, and it reflects a lot of the interface of human consciousness. There's so much turmoil in human consciousness right now. So we're going to do a little bit of clearing on the root chakra. Really big, deep clearing for some of you. This is like early on in the days when I was doing this, I used to call this roto-rootering. If you're old like me, you understand that that's a name for a plumber, a plumbing company. But also, someone ages ago called this work energetic spelunking. I don't know if you know that term. The spelunking means you're diving into the deep caves. We have to do that again. If we don't resurrect and illuminate and expose and explore our depths, there's no possible way we can hold the light that's coming in, because our bodies are always going to be in conflict, right? True manifesting comes from a pure vessel. The pure vessel is only pure when we're releasing and coming into balance. And it's not like the darkness goes away. We just learn that we're not owned by it. It doesn't run us. It doesn't dictate. We're not attached to its stories anymore. There we go. Sometimes when you hear me talking like that, it's because Source is working behind the scenes. It's working deep, and it's like my voice is this puppet, distracting you while behind the scenes there's some, root canal work being done or spelunking. I haven't brought up that reference in a long time. Deep clearing of the root chakra and any energetic buildup. Now recognize you are connected to everything and everything is connected to you. So this buildup isn't necessarily all your own, but it is your own because you are everything and everything is you. And so it's the you that's interfaced with what's going on out there. Separation consciousness says, well, that's not me out there. Here's my world. Here's who I am. Here's my point of view, and here's what I think I know about everything out there. And the wake up call for a lot of people is that everything out there is within you, and ignoring it has done a great disservice to mankind. And so the interface in the root chakra, you can't say it's not your own. It is. It's deeply interwoven with human consciousness. The upswell of this dark energy, this corruption, this greed, this power, this domination is what's been existing in the planet for thousands of years. The wars, the violence, matriarchy cultures embraced communal values, embraced the intuition, embraced the compassion. It's not like war and violence didn't happen, but it happened under the guidance of equanimity, under the guidance of the greater all. And those matriarchs were the pinpoints of disseminating the information, of seeing into the future, knowing the past, being in the present, and making decisions based on that. And that's what's missing in the world today. And that's what's arising in a lot of women, finding your equanimity, finding your voice, finding your empowerment. And it's the earth awakening, speaking to us, saying, I matter, I am you. Stop misusing me and disconnecting me. Remember, remember, remember. Beautiful. Nice, clear, deep cleaning. I haven't done this deep of a clearing in a public session on the root chakra in a long time. Must be needed. And for some of you who are new, I'm just going to create what's called a high frequency update on your grounding cord. Your grounding cord was established when you came into the planet, and now, of course, everything's changing. Everything's becoming more quantum. Everything's becoming more high frequency, more. There we go. So just update. Oh, for some of you, that's a beautiful shift in movement. It was worth showing up for this session alone, because you're going to find your capacity to connect and ground and center within the earth and within yourself much easier. It was kind of like there was a block in your root chakra for doing just that. Beautiful. Okay, well, let's try it out. Let's use it now. We're going to extend our root chakra down beneath the floor we're sitting on into the sub-basement, the top layers of the soil, through the various geological layers of the earth, the rock, the granite, the water tables, all the way into the central molten core, where there she is, the heart of Gaia. We're connecting to her like plugging in a light socket, or more importantly, like connecting our umbilical cord. And when we do that, her memory becomes our memory. It's valuable, what I call liquid nutrition. Why is it nutrition? Because our bodies are remembering that they're sacred vessels of an ancient memory that's awakening into the now time. This ancient memory isn't going to take us back to what was then. It's going to move us forward into what is now. And so let's take a moment to remember and connect. And for some of you, there is a little bit of resistance connecting to the center of the earth, and that's very normal. Because again, for thousands of years, we've been disconnected from the earth, and in those thousands of years, a lot of trauma has happened in order to maintain this delusion of patriarchy. We've experienced a lot of trauma through that. And so that trauma is still held in our bodies, in our cells, in our organs, in our DNA, in what's called our incarnational package, our past life memories and imprints that come forward to create who we think we are now. And who we are now is so much more than our thoughts, than our knowing, than our schooling, than our worldview. And so the awareness is opening, awareness is being raised to remember. Not only are you this beautiful, divine, expansive being of light and love, you are deeply earthborn. And in that earth memory is an awakening of the sacredness of the body. It's not a mistake that the autonomy, the body autonomy of women is being taken away. That's a patriarchal move of domination, of control, of so many rights of the marginalized are being taken away. Domination, control. Resurrecting and restoring equanimity and equality will make room for the voice of the feminine to speak out against injustice and say, no, care for everyone because everyone is us. And so this kind of work is the deepest form of progress. It's not always thought of that way. We want to externalize it. Internalizing your awareness and awakening. Okay, there we go. So we just deepened our connection to Mother Earth in a way that opens up your ability to remember. Because again, Earth is our ancient memory. It's also our present and future memory. We're co-creating with the divine, yes, but the awakening Earth is the divine. She's a dimensional being. She's Gaia. Okay, so now doing some active listening. Okay, so there is an element for a lot of us who are living in separation consciousness of not being safe. Not being safe in our bodies. If you're a woman, you know, if you're familiar with the meme that was circulating and went virtual, I think last year, about you're in the woods and you have a choice between a bear and a man, most women will pick the bear. Why? Because men are the unknown quality, and there's a lot of violence, a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of assault, a lot of just domination and control that's going on. And so that safety is not only bodily autonomy within the culture, there is a greater safety of even connecting to the divine power within us, right? Like, if I speak my truth, like what's happening right now to people who are speaking their truth about Palestine, about genocide, about the marginalized, about standing up to ICE, about standing up to people being kidnapped. I don't care what your politics are. People deserve to be treated with humanity. Period. I don't care what your beliefs are. People deserve to be treated with humanity, and that isn't happening. And so that sense of being unsafe is in our culture, and it's arising within our bodies as an ancient memory. So we're going to be doing two things during this session. reconnecting to safety through harmonizing the biomagnetics. Because the biomagnetics are what's frying your nerves, are what's creating too much mental activity in your neural synapses of going fear, 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 anxiety, 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 about what's arising in your muscle tone, in your fascia, in your nervous system that has been programmed to react to a world for thousands of years with suspicion. You know, when our brothers and sisters are being mistreated again, your body knows that your brothers and sisters are you. Whether you know it or not, your body does. And so this element of being unsafe is an element that is out of harmony with its own biomagnetic impulse. So we're going to be creating harmonic biomagnetics within wherever it leads us by clearing out the sense of being unsafe wherever it leads us. And so that's our mission, to create safety through harmonizing the biomagnetics. And it doesn't matter if you don't know what the biomagnetics are. Your body knows. The biomagnetics are literally each one of your trillions of cells signal, electrical impulses, the signal to everything on the planet, or everything within your functional physiology, or your biology, your body system, way it operates. But it's also universal. Each one of your cells is a piece of the universe. They can stretch back the cells to literally 10,000 people. That we all share the same cellular patterns on a frequency basis, on a vibrational basis. It's what Carl Sagan talks when we're made of star stuff, and these cells are also mineral components, fragments of stars. So just starting with structures. These structures are dimensional mapping. And what dimensional mapping is when we source sets this intention for us to create safety through harmonizing your biomagnetics. Your source hears that directive and says, okay, here's what we need to do in mapping, and sends out, for a lack of a better metaphor, these little Pac-Men, these little structures to say, okay, this needs to do this needs to go there, this needs to release that. And so these structures are energetic mapping. And so what this biomagnetic harmonics movement is going to do, it's going to create safety within, but it's also, when you start feeling safe within, you start recognizing that you are part of something more expansive. When you're not safe, think of what happens when you're not safe. Your shoulders tighten, your muscles tense, your blood pressure rises. It's part of integration fatigue. Your body says, I can't handle all this emotional, all this tension, all this mental, all this processing. And so when you start feeling safe within, what happens? Your shoulders relax. Your capillaries open. Your tension subsides. This must be a big ass. We're putting in a lot of structures. Oh, it's going into the physical. Thank you. Some of you have a lot of muscle tension. Yeah, so this is a generalized version. You could say this is a quantum upgrade to a certain extent, but it's more on the physiology, and it's a general mini version of what we've been doing all month long. Because you'll see as we go into building out the framework, it's going to help rewrite, rewire, realign your physiology and your entire energy system on a cellular molecular level to be more quantum, following guidelines of being safe in your body, safe in the world. When I had so much tension built up in my body, and I'm not going to go into my personal story, but a lot of people know it. I was born with the image of death because my mother had lost a child and she was still grieving. And so I was surrounded by this mother's grief, which is huge. And so my system was formulated on that. And so getting rid of it, my system was like, I'm not going to let go of that. That's who I think I am because that's how I was created. So it's been the best challenge for a healer to deconstruct all that fear. And still sitting in the lake, I remember the first time I sat in the lake, put my feet in the lake because I was sitting by the lake for the longest time, and my feet would just react to when seaweed touched it, or one of those little minnows was curious, and I would just or a bird would take off close to me and my central nervous system would just fire off. That's the kind of fear my body was holding. But we typically don't notice that because we're shut down. That's what integration fatigue does, is it condenses, constricts, shuts us down. Creates a lot of apathy and complacency that we're seeing now. Okay, so in building out the framework, we're going to start at the center of the earth. We've got the intention set to create safety by harmonizing the biomagnetics, those electronic impulses within all of your body, but mostly the cellular nature. So it can open up, remember, and relate to the greater world around it. See your universal nature. Know that humanity is you, that earth is you, you are the earth. There we go. This is going to be deep for some of you. I hope you drink lots and lots of water. So coming up from the center of the earth, we're going to pause at the what's called the Earth Star. We're just going to do a little clearing of the Earth Star. What is the Earth Star? It's a subroot first chakra, about a couple feet below your feet. It's how you relate to connecting to the earth. A lot of us can't stay grounded. Why? Because between us and our ability to connect to the center of the earth is all this human karma that interface with our ancestral stories, with our incarnational stories of our past lives. And a lot of this is very dark. We grew up for the last thousands of years being surrounded by patriarchal violence, by injustice, by inhumanity, by cruelty. Yes, there's magic and goodness, but it's not balanced. It's not balanced. And so we run into that. So we're clearing out the Earth Star to make it seem more hospitable place to visit. There we go. And now that makes way for this beautiful liquid nutrition, this awakening earth energy. We come up into our feet. And it's going to start going into each of the cells, the fascia, the organs, the heart, the brain, certainly, the brain synapses, and the nervous system. Everywhere there's electromagnetic impulses. It's a fascinating study, the biomagnetics is. It also is what harmonizes you with the flow of the tides. You know, the moon phases. Your biomagnetics are in flow with the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the earth. And the Schumann resonance has been in fluctuation for a lot of different reasons. And so that's why our systems are kind of like, how do I ground? Well, the best way to ground is to ground within, in that place that never changes. So if there's a cyclone around you, you are in that center sweet spot. And it's a learned process. To sit in the stillness. Beautiful. The body's got the directive now, so it's coming into the feet, ankles, up into the shins and calves, following the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve, largest nerve in the body, touches every single organ and system, and also the fascia. Fascia is that connective tissue that surrounds every single organ and system. Thighs, pausing at the pelvis. Again, doing a deep clearing and how the body connects to the interface with its root chakra. Oh, there's a lot of apathy here. So a lot of what humanity has done for the last couple thousand years is just coast. Wonder why there's so much depression, mental illness. That's the coasting, that's checking out. I'm going to disassociate. Because the reality of my inhumanity is just too much to bear, so I'm going to check out. You know, we all carry trauma. I tell people that, and they're like, oh, not me. I'm like, well, if you go deep enough, you're going to find it. You're going to find your ancestral trauma. You're going to find your incarnational trauma. You're going to find the earth wound trauma that we've been working on, thousands of years old, that has stripped away the unity consciousness, the very heart of how the earth operated as in balance with matriarchy and patriarchy. We worked in balance, masculine and feminine, with the feminine being a deity. The divinity of femininity, when it was erased, literally dropped the bottom out of how everything manifests on the planet. Because because you've all been masculine and feminine in past lives, are the intuitive creator. So it's going into the womb, the genitals, the anus, the colon, the pelvic girdle, interesting, lymph nodes, again, the fascia and tissue, gluteus maximus, was a polite way of saying. And again, following the vagus nerve and the spine. There we go. Really clearing out. So apathy and complacency is the spot. So another word for that on a deeper layered level is ignored trauma, is ignored suffering, the way the body holds suffering, the memory of it in its ancestral patterns, in the DNA, in the genetics, in its incarnational history, its connection to ancient stories of its past lives, and the trauma that was experienced, unhealed, unprocessed, held within cellular memory. These are the hidden places we don't think about when we go into our day-to-day lives. That's okay. We have specialists like myself, hand raised. I'm not really popular. Some people call me the dentist of energy healing because I take you into these uncomfortable places, but someone has to. These are necessary movements. to achieve what your heart desires, whatever you asked for. There's an internal block that says, well, it's not happening because of X, Y, Z. But you're not seeing, because if you saw it, perhaps you'd do something about it. Or maybe you do see it and you have no idea how to deconstruct it or how to get through it. And that's when we lean into source. Creating from source gets our human mind out of the way, and we say, you know best. And then source reflects back to us. Well, hey, did you know I am you? And that's when our hearts bump into the unworthiness factor. Do I really deserve that? And that sits squarely and firmly in the erasure of our feminine mothers, sisters, aunts, daughters. It is that half of humanity that has been debased, denigrated, objectified, that sits within all of us, because we can't create without divine duo working in tandem. Beautiful. That relaxed your pelvic girdle. Now coming up to the midsection and all the organs, again going into the fascia, following the vagus nerve and nervous system. We're automatically harmonizing the bio. Oh, thank you. So I'm just putting in special structures. These biomagnetic harmonizing structures are really little sparks of power. Remember, everything is intention. Everything that I'm doing is intentional. Energy follows intention. It takes three things to really manifest. You need a tool, which here we're in this tool of Trinity of universal grounding. You need an intention, a thought, a direction, a directive. Where are we going? What do you need done? And you need source. You need the engine. And so this vehicle gives you all three. So when we set intentions earlier, you're accessing all three. And your intention was the missing link. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, wonderful. A lot of that went right to your nervous system. Ooh, in the brain. Take a moment to saturate your system with these biomagnetic harmonizing structures. There we go. Now that's going to make the rest of this so much smoother. Oh, exactly. Okay, so coming into the organs now. Woo, it made a world of difference. So just flowing smoothly now. The directive says, okay, I was missing a piece here. Oh, the fascia around the organs, liver, kidneys, adrenal, stomach, lower intestines, large intestines, bladder, spleen, pancreas, gallbladder. Again, following the spine, the vagus nerve, your muscles, any muscle tension. What is it that they use when you do physical therapy? They put those vibrating, I know there's a name for it, but I can't think of it because I'm not focused on Betty's story. But they put those little electrodes on you to stimulate your muscles. Your muscles respond to electrical impulses. And they shut down based on electrical impulses. There we go. I'm going to put some more biomagnetic harmonizing structures into any muscle tension. Okay. It's turning out into a fantastic, powerful session. Really focusing on the nervous system. Again, it's restructuring, restoring, upgrading your bioelectromagnetic interface with the planet, with the universe, with itself. Remember, your cells work in a divine intelligence, in a biointelligence with each other based on communication, right? And so communication are electronic impulses. So to create safety, we have to address electrical impulses that don't feel safe within you. There we go. It's really working on the nervous system now, and the fascia, the midsection, the lower back, upper back. If you've got body tension, putting structures in the body tension will probably help relax. There's a companion piece to this that I did 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, March of 23, called Biomagnetic Harmonizing, that really goes in depth into this. And it's on my website under self-paced replays. Even those who took the session on Tuesday, I'm hearing from people who paired it with the Tuesday session that it was marvelous. Worked perfectly to reinforce the body's remembrance. There we go. And now coming into the sternum, rib cage, lungs. Getting into the connective, there's a lot of connective tissue in the lungs, folds and folds and folds of it, into the heart, electromagnetic impulses of the heart. We know it fires based on electromagnetic impulses. Fascia around the heart. Ooh. Now again, the muscles in the shoulders, shoulder blades, up into the higher spiritual heart. Up into the clavicle, shoulders, down into the arms, elbows, forearms, hands, palms, fingers. All the connective tissue there. Beautiful. Now up into the neck, rewiring, rewriting on the cellular molecular level. The vertebrae in the neck, vagus nerve, spine, central nervous system, coming into the brain stem, the different aspects of the brain. You may feel a little lightheaded here. If you're still awake, that's okay. Drinking lots of water is really important for these sessions, because water, you're just reminding me I didn't drink enough. Oh, thank you. I was snapping, that's why. Going into the executive function, the prefrontal cortex, the colossal colostrum, the pineal, pituitary, amygdala, the reptilian brain. Ooh. The brain synapses, the cellular firings of how the brain talks to the nervous system, and the nervous system creates biochemistry in the endocrine system. Everything functions biologically. And the function for thousands of years has been based in ancient trauma. And so clearing the trauma is like permission to remember. While the trauma is still there, the body says, I know you want me to awaken. I know you want to bring in all this light and love, but you know what? You're still carrying density and constriction that you didn't know about on the cellular level, on a genetic level, body imprint level. I was fully awake, but my body said, F no, you're not. And took me on a many-year-long path where it contracted Lyme's, working through karma, all a beautiful process. What I do now, best teacher. My body is my best teacher. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to stretch all the way up into the stars, past the moon, past the sun, the next galaxy, into the next sun, and the next galaxy, and then into the central sun, where we're going to receive these light codes that are going to activate this physiological and energetic framework that we just built out. Kind of like circuitry, you know, like a computer doesn't work unless it has the circuit board to tell it what to do. And it's coming down to filter into the brain. This is probably going to go fairly quickly. Because we were pausing to do all the fascia cells, get trillions of cells, brain synapses, nervous system. I mean, we spent all month long doing the same thing. So it is quite a big ask, but you're receiving exactly what you need. There we go. Beautiful. These light codes are relaxing the brain now. The brain's like, oh, I have this framework. What do I do with it? Now following the vagus nerve and the nervous system down into the neck, into the trillions of cells, shoulders down into each of the arms, hands, fingers, flowing into the heart, lungs following the spine, breasts, and down into the midsection, all your organs, like lighting up, like a bunch of candles, sparks, flames. That's what structures are. They're little sparks, little seeds of remembrance. into the guts and the genitals and the pelvic girdle, and all the way down the legs, following the vagus nerve into the knees, calves, feet, and reaching the center of the earth. We're going to do some integration in a bit, but first we're going to bring in what's called universal timelines. Universal timelines recognize that we are in this beautiful space where all timelines are present. Your past, your present, your future are all here, and we can pick a version of you that exists. This alternate version has already done this work. It's mastered its ability to upgrade its fascia, its tissue, its brain, its nervous system as a safe being. So you're going to hear me breathing. This biomagnetic harmonizing supports the imprint of safety. So what it creates is a blueprint. Some people call this quantum time jumping. Meh. We're already living several timelines all at once. So if you go out your door and you take a right, you're going to meet all these different experiences that you wouldn't have met, which is a separate timeline, than if you went out your door and took a left. So timelines are happening all the time. So this timeline happens to be a future self where you've mastered, your body has mastered them. Oh, there's a lot of tweaks going on in the organs. And your body has mastered the ability to have its bioelectrics harmonized to safety. And this overlay I call an evolutionary blueprint, because it's the you that's evolved already. Now, it doesn't mean you snap your fingers and that instantly happens. What happens is you need to do what? You need to integrate the shift. So it requires rest, it requires good food, sunshine, water, all the things we should be doing anyway. Our rush um, uh, human existence is not conducive to what is a lived experience with nature. Listening to what the earth needs, listening to what your body needs, listening to what the universe needs in coordination with your body and the earth. All of this is you. We've forgotten how to do that. We no longer connect to the earth with our bare feet. We like spending time with her, but we don't have an intimate relationship with her. Even I struggle with really hearing the earth speak to me. I can only imagine why every day I get inundated with swans. Like, swans, what are you trying to tell me? Before it was crows. Now it's swans. Earth speaks to you if you're listening. Okay, beautiful. That was really a nice movement. So now coming into integration, integrating in all space, all time, all realities, all dimensions, all realms, all fields, interdimensionally catching up, physicalizing. This helps with that integration fatigue by integrating this movement. So it doesn't have to be a long, elongated process. And we do that by integrating the system as a whole. brain, the nervous system, the different areas of the brain that we worked on, the neural synapses. We're going to specifically integrate the electromagnetics within the physical body. It's called a biomagnetic field. Why? Because it's your interface with the electromagnetics that are happening all around us anyway. You know, we have these negative ions that we love when we go sit near a waterfall or a moving water or even a tree in a forest. They call that, you know, forest therapy for a reason, because it's filled with negative ions that interact with our system, our central nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system, to create safety. This is who you are. Psst. You're one with us. Your body's just forgotten this stress thing and said, negative ions, and creates its own stressed out biochemistry. Integrating the nervous system, the vagus nerve. Beautiful. Integrating the energy bodies, the chakras. You are really a vast collection of energetic structures and frameworks that your head would explode as to how complex it is, because it takes a lot to understand how you, this physical body, is connected to this greater universe. It's connected to the earth, and science has called it, people in fantasy call it the matrix. I get it. You can see it as a matrix. It's a wonderful visual for how everything is interconnected, but you know, there's a greater field of awareness, this unified field. I love the term unified field because it explains what you are. You are an individual expression of the divine living in this unified field. You can look at it as a tapestry then, right? Where every string is the structure that holds every other string together, and each one is functionally important, and each one is functionally part of the greater whole. And this tapestry is constantly in movement. There is no set, fixed pattern that it lives by. It lives by this flux of intervening, interceding energetic impulses that create and uncreate. Kind of a really simplistic description. There we go. When I talk, it's because, again, the energy is working underneath. Ooh. Still working in the brain for some of you. Going into the fascia, the vagus nerve, the tissue to update or to integrate. Beautiful. And feel your system relaxing. And that's what integration does. Integration says, great, you've given me a directive and I'm attempting to achieve it, but dimensional transformational directive is deconstructive. So you're pulling all these things apart. And the system says, well, I'm used to being together. So that's why you get a sense of disorientation or spaciness, or just feel really tired all the time, or you're still integrating. And so integration says, let's pull these pieces back together, integrating the organs, the pathways. Now we're going to spend some time integrating the cells, cellular consciousness, cellular function. Wow. It's like your cells are drinking this up like desert drinks up water. Again, I highly recommend the session on my webpage called Biomagnetics Harmonizing. It does more of this, because that integration fatigue is really just your body hasn't caught up with the changes, right? And we're doing a lot of changes. And we're doing a lot of changing whether we know it or not, based on the planetary alignments, the moon phases, the solar flares, and this big, huge thing called human consciousness that we're connected to. Yeah, humanity is collapsing in on upon itself, and it should. The foundation of how humanity is operating right now is out of balance. It needs to collapse. So what? We can rebuild it. How to rebuild it? We start with ourselves. Foundationally, you can't skip over the basics. I mean, you can, and look what happens, but you shouldn't skip over the basics. Beautiful. That made a difference. Now integrating the genetics, putting special structures into that, because that's typically takes way too long than we have time for. Beautiful. So that's going to continue probably for the next 20 minutes, going on in the background. And integrating your life field, your intelligence system, how it operates with each other and with the greater world around, and indeed the universe. Probably going to go about 5 minutes long because I want to end in some beautiful energy. Integrating the luminous egg, this greater multi-dimensional framework that holds us together in a cosmic dimensional way, in the fabric of the universe. And integrating anything else. Whole entire energy system and all of consciousness. There's also a special integration session on the YouTube page that is worth a listen to, especially when you're doing a lot of work, to make time for integration. Yes, rest, yes, drink water, yes, spend time in nature, yes, get sunshine. There's light codes in sunshine. Exercise, move your body. This integration goes deep into this dimensional patterns. And that's on the multidimensional YouTube channel. And I think it's called Classic Integration, if I'm not mistaken. If you can't find it, let me know. I believe it's on there. If not, I'm happy to send it to you. I have a lot of free stuff, but I also have a lot that is for earth workers only, because this stuff shouldn't be accessed unless you're understanding what it does and meet it with the sacred intention that it deserves. Advanced energy work is deconstructive. And deconstructive in the wrong hands could be, harmful in a way that you're moving stuff without foundational agency to do so. Beautiful. Devi therapy, working in the psychological, mental, emotional, typically brings in insight and awareness on these movements, maybe looking at your stress patterns, lifestyle choices, habits. Beautiful. Now we're going to end. We're going to spend about 5 minutes here. And the energy of love, divine love, pure love. And what it's going to do is it's going to embrace the sense of safety within and hold it with the nurturing compassion, or strengthen it and amplify it with the life force that's needed. It knows. I don't. This little Betty sitting here can't possibly know. And so I practice surrendered listening. And as a channel, as a facilitator, I don't even call myself a channel, because I'm not. Yes, the voice of the divine is coming through me, but it's more of facilitating. We're in this greater space. It's not necessarily coming through me as it is coming through the all of how we're all interconnected. So I'm going into that interface. Beautiful. So just soak in this divine love. Really amplifying your sense of safety in the body, in the world, in your community, in your family. And this begs a question: if you practice self introspection or awareness, which you should, apathy and complacency disconnects us from feeling, disconnects us from the rest of the world, disconnects us from really listening to the body and listening to the guidance of Source. Self-awareness takes you back. And you can do it with self-inquiry. You can simple journaling, or just spending time in nature and allowing your thoughts to bubble up and listening to them. So the question for awareness here is, where do you still feel unsafe? Explore safety as an engagement. What does that mean? What do you need to create more safety in your life? So if you were living in a space, consciously or unconsciously, where you felt unsafe, you would probably have protective layers, right? But when you're in a space of safety, those protective layers become prisons. So explore the nature of safety in your life. Where can I open up? Where can I be maybe more communicative or set boundaries or bring in more love, more joy, more dance, more exercise, whatever. Explore what it's like, who you are when you feel safe. Are you using your voice more? Are you being creative, art, expressive, dance? That's your invitation. Yes, notice the places where you're not feeling safe and allow them to bubble up and give voice to them. It might be your body talking to you. It might be a relationship. It might be family. It might be your relationship to the divine, yourself, whatever. Explore that. Feelings, emotions, fears, but also embrace safety as an engagement. Who am I now that I'm safe? What am I now that I'm safe? And I think you're going to love those answers. The divine loves that you love those answers right now because safety leads you right to love. Love leads you right to safety. They're interchangeable. So the angel Jophiel coming in, sprinkling your system with love that is safe and safety that is love. And they're going to go in the dark places that are still percolating. We're going to be on our deathbed, and all this awareness of things that we didn't even know are there going to flash before us. And that's the nature of being human. Accept that. Our mind has been trained to want perfection. Humans are messy. We're karmic beings, dimensional beings with many lifetimes. It's like a pioneer of this new exploration. Who am I? Well, you're not this thing that you think you are. You are so much more. And when you embrace safety, you can start asking and letting the divine, letting your higher self, letting the universe answer them for you. And where it takes you, God only knows. Or I should say, Goddess only knows. Can't wait. Love for you to share what your experience of this is. And so we end like we always end. The Sanskrit mantra. It is literally a prayer for what we're doing, to be led from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May there be peace and freedom on the earth, and may we realize we are that peace and freedom. We are the very fabric of it. Asatoma Sakamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Tram Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Guriyo Namaha Hari Om. Beautiful. You can already tell the amount of stillness and quiet and peace that is born from this newfound expression of safety within you. Please re-listen to this. You'll get more movement, but again, what we're realizing is practice discernment. Don't overdo it. Take time in between to rest. Follow your inner guidance. Taking a deep breath, bring you up and out of this space of grace. Bringing in gratitude for our time together, gratitude for, oh my goodness, the gifts from the angel Jophiel, the guidance, the illumination she brings to us. Thank you to Divine Mother, of which all things could not be possible. Thank you to Mother Earth and her energetics, the angels, the earth elements, Master Healers, Shakti, Shiva. Thank you to all. Great mystery of Source. It is done. It is complete. So it is, so it is, so it is. Remember, you are Earth. The Earth is you. You are safe and you are loved. Until next time, be blessed.